Iran's big warning comes as Israel appears locked and loaded for possible strikes on Iranian energy sites. Will Israel's energy gamble trigger a much wider regional shock and raise the risk of broader economic and military escalation across the Middle East?
After we destroyed 70% of their steel production capacity, which serves as raw material for their weapons, today we struck the petrochemical plants.
Iran issues gates of hell warning after Netanyahu said Israel had already struck Iranian petrochemical facilities. Iran's top operational command has issued a major warning to the United States and Israel, signaling that any new strike on Iranian infrastructure could trigger a much wider escalation. Ali Abdollahi said that any attack on Iran's infrastructure would open the gates of hell, according to remarks carried by Press TV and echoed in other reporting. The threat was attributed to the commander of the Khatam al-Anbiya Central Headquarters, who delivered the warning on April 4th. Major General Ali Abdollahi said, and I quote, "The aggressive and warmongering US president, after suffering repeated defeats, has, in a desperate, nervous, unbalanced, and foolish move threatened our country's infrastructure and national assets. Since the beginning of the imposed war, we have acted on everything we have said. The simple meaning of this message is that the gates of hell will be opened on you. Any enemy aggression would trigger devastating and sustained attacks on all infrastructure used by the terrorist American army and the Zionist regime. We, the armed forces, will never hesitate for a moment in defending the rights of our nation and safeguarding our national assets, and we will put every aggressor in their place." Unquote. That warning came after Trump said Iran had only 48 hours to make a deal or face severe consequences. Trump wrote on Truth Social that Iran had 48 hours before all hell will rain down on them, escalating the pressure in public. Hours later, a senior Iranian military commander rejected Trump's deadline and answered it with a direct threat of retaliation. Meanwhile, Israel appears to be preparing possible strikes on Iran's energy infrastructure. The Times of Israel reported that Israel was waiting for Trump's 48-hour deadline to expire before launching major attacks. That report said Israel was awaiting a green light from the United States, citing a senior Israeli defense official. The same reporting said any such attacks would likely come within the next week. Separately, Netanyahu said on April 4th that Israel had attacked Iran's petrochemical plants, according to live coverage of the war.
I promise you that we will continue to crush the terrorist regime in Tehran, and that is exactly what we are doing. After we destroyed 70% of their steel production capacity, which serves as raw material for their weapons, today we struck the petrochemical plants. We will continue to crush them, just as I promised. May there be joyful days ahead.
Meanwhile, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps announced Iraq was exempt from restrictions tied to the Strait of Hormuz.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إلى الشعب المسلم الأبي في العراق الصديق والشقيق. لقد ارتكبت الولايات المتحدة المجرمة والكيان الصهيوني بالتعاون مع حلفائهما وشركائهما عدوانا غاشما على السيادة الوطنية والإسلامية لبلدنا إيران، فقصفوا بجبن ووحشية النساء والأطفال والمدنيين، استهدفوا المدارس والطلاب والمراكز الطبية ومؤسسات الخدمات العامة. ففي مثل هذه الظروف اتخذ الشعب العراقي العزيز والمسلم موقفا حكيما وصادقا في مواجهة الاستكبار الأمريكي العالمي والكيان الصهيوني الإرهابي، وأبدى رد فعل مؤثر وثوري إزاء استشهاد قائد الثورة الإسلامية ومرجعها الكبير سماحة آية الله العظمى خامنئي وسائر الشهداء الأبرار. ونقولها بالصدق، إن الشعب الإيراني لم يكن وحيدا، فقد كنا نخوض المعركة، فكانت ولا تزال قلوبكم ودموعكم ومواقفكم الصلبة معنا، فكان دعمكم وسيظل باعثا لنا على مزيد من العزم والثبات لمواصلة النضال. نرفع أكف الدعاء لنجاحكم في مواجهة أمريكا المجرمة ووكلائها، ونسأل الله تعالى أن يسدد خطاكم ويكلل مساعيكم بالنصر، وإن مواقفكم وأفعالكم ستسجل في صفحات التاريخ. ونعلن هنا أن العراق الشقيق مستثنى من أي قيود فرضناها في مضيق هرمز، إذ لا تشمل تلك القيود إلا الدول المعادية. ونحن نكن احتراما بالغا لسيادة العراق الوطنية، فأنتم أمة تحمل على صدرها ندوب الاحتلال الأمريكي وآثاره، وكفاحكم في مواجهة أمريكا جدير بالتقدير والإجلال. لقد أثبتتم عمليا أنكم أمة لا تستكين ولا ترضخ لمنظومة الهيمنة، وذلك مدعاة فخر واعتزاز لكم. وإن تطورات اليوم إلى جانب ما قدمتموه من عون ومساندة يمكن أن تحيي للعراق فرصة تاريخية لإنهاء الوجود الأمريكي المفروض على أراضيه وتحقيق أمن مستدام ووضع حد لنحب ثروات العراقية الحائلة على يد الولايات المتحدة. ويرفع الشعب الإيراني أسمع آيات الإجلال والإكرام إلى أرواح شهداء الشعب العراقي البطل، ولا سيما شهداء فصائل المقاومة والحشد الشعبي، ويبتهل إلى الله تعالى أن يلهم ذويهم الكرام الصبر والسلوان. كما يوجه التحية إلى مقاتلي فصائل المقاومة وإلى الشعب العراقي الواعي وإلى أبناء العشائر الأبية في العراق، ونسأل الله لكم دوام التوفيق والسداد، ونثمن عاليا مواقف العلماء والفقهاء الأجلاء في العراق ولا سيما المرجعية الشيعية العليا، ودعمهم للشعب الإيراني ومواقفهم الثابتة في مواجهة الاستكبار العالمي. يا الشعب العراقي العزيز، إنكم مصدر عز للمسلمين في العالم، فاعتزوا بشجاعتكم وصمودكم. إن الشعبين الإيراني والعراقي يقفان في خندق واحد، فسيحققان يدا بيد النصر في هذه المعركة التاريخية ضد العدو الحاقد والشيطان الأكبر أمريكا ووكلائها، وضد إسرائيل قاتلة الأطفال، فسيذوقان طعم النصر المؤزر برعاية المولى جل وعلا إن شاء الله. وفي الختام نستحضر في أذهاننا عهد الشهيد الصادق زهير بن قين رضوان الله عليه الذي تجسدت فيه روح التضحية الفدائية في نصرة الحق، حيث خاطب الإمام الحسين عليه السلام قائلا: والله لوددت أني قتلت ثم نشرت ثم قتلت حتى أقتل هكذا 1000 مرة، وأن الله يدفع بذلك القتل عن نفسك وعن أنفس هؤلاء الفتيان من أهل بيتك. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Iran's military claims it has launched drone attacks on what it calls key industrial and high-tech hubs inside Israel, describing them as strategic centers vital to the country's capabilities. Tehran says the March 31st drone wave specifically hit important telecom and industrial centers in Israel, aiming to disrupt both its civilian infrastructure and its wartime logistics. Iran's forces further allege that their targets included sites linked to global giants such as Siemens and AT&T inside Israel, accusing these firms of indirectly supporting its adversary systems. According to Iranian statements, some of the strikes were directed at facilities close to Ben Gurion Airport and the crucial port city of Haifa, both seen as critical nodes in Israel's security network. Iranian outlet Press TV reported that a Siemens-linked industrial software center near Ben Gurion was singled out, portraying it as a brain hub for advanced control systems. Iran claims the technology developed at this center supports weapons production lines and the design of sophisticated military systems, making it a high-priority target in their eyes. Officials in Tehran also pointed to a telecom research and development hub in Haifa, which they linked to AT&T, saying it was hit because of its role in advanced communications. Tehran alleges this Haifa facility develops networks, cloud platforms, and artificial intelligence tools that underpin Israeli military operations, framing the strike as a blow to its digital backbone. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps announced the 88th wave of Operation True Promise 4, proclaiming a new phase of coordinated strikes aimed at Israeli and US targets in the region. According to reports cited by the Times of Israel, Iranian missiles armed with cluster warheads slammed into parts of central Israel on March 31st, sharply escalating the nature of Tehran's attacks. At least 8 people were injured in the March 31st barrage on central Israel, with emergency services rushing casualties from multiple impact sites. Impacts were reported in the densely populated areas of Bnei Brak, Ramat Gan, and Petah Tikva, heightening public fear that everyday urban centers are now firmly in the firing line. Iran's forces also claimed responsibility for targeting a cargo ship associated with Israel, named the Hafong Express, signaling that their latest wave of attacks extends to maritime assets as well. Iran claimed it had carried out a precise strike on what it described as a gathering point for US Marines on the UAE coast, signaling a direct challenge to American deployments in the Gulf region. Tehran also asserted that an anti-drone system belonging to the US fleet based in Bahrain was destroyed, framing the attack as part of a broader effort to blind American defenses. In a further claim, Iran said it had taken out an advanced aerial radar at the Jabba al-Ahmed base, presenting this as another blow to US surveillance and early warning capabilities in the area.